Today's video, we're actually going to talk about the credit unions that don't pull ChexSystems. And the reason we're talking about this because about 80 to 90% of credit unions, they actually use ChexSystems. And so I'm going to show you some of the easier credit unions to join, as well as break down what's actually in your ChexSystem file and why you should, because of some of the things that the banks actually do that you're not aware of. Okay, so what's on your ChexSystems file? Okay, you have unsatisfied balances. So what that means is that you may have closed out your checking account and you didn't know that there was a check that came through, and you may have owed them $1 and some change or something like that. And because you never paid that $1 and some change, they'll send it over to ChexSystems. You may have some overdraft checks. You may have deposited some fraudulent checks. Now, in terms of somebody, you may have done some work with for somebody and they gave you a check and it was fraud and you deposited. Or it may have been that you get these checks in the mail saying, hey, we are giving you a $25,000 check, right? You need to contact us, but you don't contact them, you just deposit the check. Now, because you deposited a check, the company never actually approved you for the $25,000, right? But even though your name is on the check and the company's name on the check. Now, this actually did happen. A guy, he had received one of these checks. He went to the bank, deposited. After, I think it was 7 days, the check cleared, and the money ended up being his. They could not take it back, even though the company did not clear the check. It was because the banks didn't catch it. So he ended up keeping the money. So you just have to be very careful in terms of, like, with these companies, they're sending you these checks and everything, but it does state that you need to contact us to be approved, right? The number of inquiries that's on your credit file, that can be in your ChexSystems, the amount of checks you order, the security freezes, that's in your ChexSystem, suspicious account activity. Now that's where you may have maybe depositing, like, quite frequently a lot of small amounts or large amounts of money and stuff like that. So when you do that, and especially when it's cash and stuff like that, that's suspicious activity, and financial institution, they'll close your account, right? Even though you didn't do anything wrong, you just deposited money. You could have been working a food truck, you could have been a person that does a professional casino gambler or anything, right? And like I said, because of that suspicious activity, they report that to ChexSystems and stuff. Sometimes they close down your account. Now, again, you do have a ChexSystems scoring, goes from 100 to 899, and the higher the score, the lower the risk is with the bank. The way the banks look at you, the lower your risks to them, okay? So just keep that in mind. Now, let's talk about some of these credit unions. You have Navy Federal Credit Union. I always say if you have bad credit, you're joining Navy Federal. You want to get the end rewards because 200 turns into a couple $1,000 unsecured card after 6 months. You should get a pledge loan. Let's talk about some of these actual data points. Now, Navy Federal internal scoring goes from 100 to 450, right? And the data points to help you get the highest internal score so that you get more funding through Navy Federal is your deposits, pledge loan account, flagship checking accounts, money market accounts, savings accounts, CDs. Now, here's the thing about it. I have witnessed clients with a 550 score join Navy Federal, and they open up a savings account, money market account, a flagship account, and Navy Federal gave them a $7,500 credit card, unsecured credit card, right off the bat, even with a 555 credit score, brand new. So that's not impossible with Navy Federal. If they see that you're doing good business with them, they're definitely willing to open up the doors for you. Also, making sure, I always tell people, make sure that you do your weekly deposits, at least $25 a week, into your savings account as well into your checking account if possible, okay? Now, Your state department, federal credit union don't use ChexSystems as well, so you can join through the American Consumer Council. They don't offer business bank account. They do offer secured cards, so you help you rebuild your credit. They pull Experian FICO 8. Even if you have paid off charge-offs and collections and discharge bankruptcy, they're still willing to work with you. Now, Southwest Financial Credit Union out of Texas, I don't have a lot of data points on them, so I need to make a video, but they do not use ChexSystems. Then you have America, because there's a difference. There's an American First Credit Union, then America First. We're focusing on America First Credit Union, and I'm going to make a separate video about them because they offer business bank account, and I want to definitely show you all how to leverage their credit cards as well as their business credit cards to get access to more funding. Okay, and they do not use ChexSystems. All right. Then you have NASA. NASA is definitely one of those credit unions you possibly want to become a member at through the National Space Society. Now let me digress for a minute about this FICO scoring, because a lot of people, they don't know which scoring is which, right? Because you may go to you may go to Credit Karma, and Credit Karma is saying, hey, you have a good score over here, right? But they're using a Vantage score, all right? So then you try to apply for a credit card and stuff, you get denied. It's because some of your lenders may be using your FICO score. And so there's a difference between your FICO 8, your FICO 2, your FICO 9, the new FICO 10, the 10T. So there's a lot of different FICO scores in itself. And if you want to actually see what your real FICO scores are, and you want to learn how to leverage your real FICO scores, click the link in the description, get your FICO score, and then schedule a one-on-one 30-minute consultation, because it's going to take about 30 minutes to go over your credit file, and we can talk about how you can leverage your different FICO scores in order to get funding. We can find out which institutions that actually pull the different FICO scores, so you'll know which ones to do business with and ones that you shouldn't do business with. But NASA Credit Union is definitely one of those credit unions you want to join, and they don't pull the FICOs, they don't pull the ChexSystems. They may use the early EWS, early warning system, for some of these credit unions. So that may be an alternative that they may use. And I may have to make a separate video so you're aware of that. Now, if you have questions about business credit, personal credit, business credit funding, personal credit funding, click the link in the description, schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.